What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another piping hot episode of Sippin The Tea.
Where we sip the tea and our guests spill that tea.
Spill it. We got Miss Mama in town today.
We have little glitty glit right here.
And girl, let me tell you, I am super pumped today. Comedian, writer, actress, New York Times bestselling author. The list just goes on. Heather McDonald,
Hello.
what is up,
How
girlfriend?
are you?
Girl.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
I want to
so
spill
nice.
the tea, get the scoop.
Please get into Juicy Scoop. That's the name of my podcast. So I'm ready to
Listen,
spill the
honey,
tea.
she plugged that right
It's
in,
some
girl.
Juicy Scoop. Oh, come on, please.
Yeah, well, let's start there.
All
Let's
right.
start there.
What do you-
The ethos of how it started, I think, is kind of funny because it came out of, I guess, in a way, let me try this. Because there was a lull in the space of what you were doing, and you were like, hey, give it a shot.
I mean, most people know me from Chelsea Lately, so I wrote and produced and appeared on that show through that entirety, which is like 7.5 years. And then after that, I did have a couple great things that happened. I had a show on TLC with Margaret Cho, but it only lasted 6 episodes, and another thing. So then after about a year of that, I was like, all right, I guess I'll try a podcast, you know? And it's like been the surprise of my career. I really love it. I was basically doing that on Chelsea Lately, but it was even everything that I loved. Like they weren't into the housewives and, but so it was everything that I got to enjoy, which is everything that's juicy, whether it's like a murder. Sometimes I talk about a murder or sometimes it's a personal thing, but it always has to have a juicy element to the murder. So if it's a murder, it's because someone was cheating on someone and they were rich and it was like a Dateline. So it has to be something juicy. So and then I have comedians and reality stars on and people like that. So it's a good variety of things.
I love it. And this is your full-time gig now. As well as all the other touring.
But really, mostly that and stand-up. And the two feed each other because people learn about the stand-up from the podcast. And then the podcast, I say, come to the stand-up. And sometimes I do live Juicy Scoop tapings of that. So like sometimes I'm just doing stand-up and then sometimes I do a live show and have a guest.
I'm going to take all your
that's
information, girl. I'm like,
It's fun. I'm not the one who originated that idea, but it works out well.
You do it well, though.
Yes, thank you.
It's about how you apply it. It's not about, you didn't have to originate it.
Yes,
you do it damn well.
Girl, you're a natural and a Jill of all trades. So wait, let's go backwards. So how did comedy even just get started? Like, did you just know that, like, I'm a comedian? Like, take us to that story.
So we were just talking about how we were both from the LA area, the Valley to be
A18.
exact. And so growing up, we had an agent because the neighbor kid next door had an agent, and my sisters and I would go and do commercials. However, I was the worst. Like I booked worse than anyone. My sister was blonde, blue-eyed, and that was the hot thing. So she got like all the commercials, but she's an attorney, and I'm the one that was like thirsty from day one. Like, notice me, just the brown hair girl. Yeah. But because we were around that, it was like we were sort of jaded too. Like I didn't want to be an actor because I knew so many people that were struggling with it. So it's like at like 6 years old, I'm like, I'm not going to be a waitress at 27. Like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, and then after I got to SC and I wasn't pursuing film or anything. I was doing communications, like, because for some reason I thought like being a reporter would be easier than being an actress, which all of it's hard. So you should just focus on the thing that you have a good knack at. And so I could always do impressions and I was always funny. And at one point I was like, maybe I'll get into casting. And my friend said that. She goes, it's all hard, Heather. So just do the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, that you love.
And I'm like, yeah, why would I think that one different aspect will be any more easy to make it? So then I just started, I started pursuing stand-up, and I did the Groundlings Theater, which is improv theater. And many years of trying, I finally got an agent, started to get jobs writing and appearing in writing and acting but it's been a long up and down
entertainment is a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, sometimes I have SAG insurance, sometimes I don't. It was like that. Then I was selling real estate, selling shows, not selling shows, having something go, and then not until Chelsea and I reached out to her because I heard she's going to do a 5-night-a-week show about pop culture, and I just got back into doing stand-up. I had stopped for many years while I was having kids. And I was like, well, if I can write for the Wayans brothers, if I can write for black guys, I can write for a white drunk girl. So I knew her act,
that's right.
So she was like, really? And then, so that was a huge hit. And then from there, is really where my stand-up, where I became a headliner, is during those years, because I got to open for her and then I started doing my own shows. And I mean, I absolutely love doing stand-up. I mean, I'm going to be in Denver next week. I mean, it's great. It's great to just get away and do that for a few days.
Get away from the
Kids
two boys
everybody,
and the
Get
daughter
away from
and
the
husband.
boys, yes. Be able to watch Bravo all day in my hotel
Listen,
room.
she's my queen.
No, we call now when we book hotels. I call and I ask if they have Bravo, because there's nothing like going to a hotel room and there's no Bravo and no E. And you're like, what am I supposed to do all weekend?
Girl, you need to speak to the bookers, because you got to be put up in the right hotels. Chat.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Yes, but you got to make sure. 'Cause
Shit.
I've been at nice places, and for some reason, their cable, I don't know. So
Little
Listen.
that janky cable.
yeah. It's like, but if I'm going to lay in my bed all day before I do 2 shows, I would like to watch something that
I like that. I like that. I want to talk about, obviously, Chelsea lately was like such a big moment in your life. And I don't want to go into the politics of things, but I want to talk about, when you look back on that, do you look back fondly on the whole experience?
It was so great. So, not to bring it down, but you might have seen there was a comedian that passed away named Brody Stevens, and
Yes.
he was our warm-up guy.
Yes.
And so there was just a benefit for him at the Comedy Store. And a bunch of us got together from Chelsea lately, but all different aspects, like the publicist and the talent booker, and then a couple of the comedians and a couple of producers, like, cool. But we all are keeping in touch. I mean, the group text, we all keep in touch. They all come on my show. We all do things together. So there was a group of us that went to dinner, then we went, and a bunch of us were watching that benefit. And so, yes, I totally look back on it fondly. It was like such a great time. It was such a collaborative time. I mean, I've moved on from that, and that, like, I don't know that I'd be happy working in that capacity again at that level, because fortunately my career has gone much bigger and I can be my own boss, and I wasn't my own boss at that time. But it was the best. It was so much fun. It was really, really so fun.
I like to hear that, because it was, I mean, that's where I first got you on my radar. I was like, we need more of you there. And I think that evolution to now, I'm like so happy that, you're in your stride and doing it on your terms.
Yes,
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool to have that that ability, and the way the media is today. So many people can have their own entrepreneurial entertainment business, and so I feel very lucky to be able to take advantage of this.
I love it.
So what's next, girl? Like, what? You have the podcast. What do you see? What do you think lies ahead?
It to go on a higher level, whether it be something like this or something on regular TV or whatever. But in the meantime,
Andy.
But in the meantime, I do really get joy out of each episode that I do, or I do get just when I think I'm getting burnt or tired. Oh my God, we booked somebody that I'm really interested in interviewing. So it's about like being interested in the person. I truly have a curiosity for so many things, and this kind of feeds it. So every day is different. It makes it fun. I mean, it is hard doing completely on your own type of thing.
Yeah.
But it makes it so exciting too.
I love that. I think a few of the things that I've seen through social, I love the dynamic that you bring your kids into certain aspects of it. I mean, you are Huckett. I saw a video of you selling tickets to a charity event with your little man. I was like, are they mortified by you, or are they taking it in their stride?
They do get it, but I've always said for the last few years, like, look, you want a lip kit or not? You think Kris Jenner just let her kids lay away? No. But
Hello?
they're boys, so they already don't have an advantage, okay? So I'm like, look, at least you can be funny, right? So let's work it out. So no, I just say, look, I'm gonna exploit you like everybody else. Like, I'm so bummed they're not babies. Like, if I had a baby right now, I'd be killing it with free shit, But like, they're giant. So it's like, at least
give it a go, girl.
Go do a sketch with me and I'll, pay you. I pay them $20 to $40 a sketch.
Listen, it helps with the chicks now.
I mean, it's
I just love that.
it's not SAG-AFTRA fee, but it will get them.
They got a roof over their head, right?
Yes,
You're
exactly.
like, your ass is out.
I go, this is the business. If we were farmers, you'd have to wake up at 5 a.m. and pick corn. But because you're not, I need you to, I'm going to dress up like Lisa Rinna, and you're going to stand next to me. Lisa Rinna did this video with her daughters, her model daughters, and they're just standing and so I go, oh my God, we got to do this, but with the boys. And so I showed it to them, and they did it like really quickly. And people just were like, I can't believe you got your sons to do that. I'm like, because they have to. I mean,
It's like, come
you
on
don't
now.
give them a choice. Too many people give their children choices.
Well, it's like I like the Kris Jenner analogy. I was like, damn, if I had a baby girl right now,
Jeez.
honey, I'd be on top.
Right?
Oh
tell
my
you.
God. I
Let me
think that's
tell-
why people are having kids, for storylines and Instagram posts.
Bitch, I can get married or whatever you need me
You
to
know
do.
what I
I'm
am
doing
waiting
it.
for, though? I wonder if there will be like a case where few years from now, because you know how there's so many like YouTube parents that like literally humiliate their kid, like having a tantrum,
The
or they
struggle.
give them the Novocaine, and they're like, you know, will any of those kids like turn and sue their parents for money or humiliation?
I
wouldn't be
It will
surprised.
happen. It will happen. I just don't want it will happen.
It's headed there. I got one question. Have you ever been approached to be a housewife?
I've never been approached.
Why not?
What?
I sort of
I've
think
never-
that maybe
I've
because
never
it's the
been
purveyor.
approached.
I'm like, really?
I've never ever.
Would you do it?
You know, I've said yes and I've said no. I interview the women, and I do know the kind of emotional stress it takes on you. And honestly, I don't know that I don't know that I could like compartmentalize it, because when I have personal like stress in my life, like a friendship stress or like a legal stress or thing, I like wake up in the middle of the night. Like, it's really hard for me. So like, if I was going through Puppygate, if I was any of the players in Puppygate right now in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I think I would be very stressed out.
Listen,
And I think that's a lot of
juicy scoop
stress.
right there.
Yeah.
But you're so authentic, though, and that's the thing.
Maybe
I
I'd
think
be good.
You would
I
be
think I'd
good
I
because
think I'd be
people
good, I'd
need
be
that.
Fun. Listen, if they ask me, I'm not going to say that I won't consider it. But I think a lot of people don't recognize how much the women are jeopardizing by being on it,
Oh.
because you're
True.
exposing your kids, you're exposing your husband. Now, if you're completely single, like Carol was, she was like the only person that I feel really had so little to risk, because
Yeah.
you know, I think sometimes it's really hard. You put your husband on it, and they're this macho guy, and then they get on the show, they think they look great, they think they've been great, and then everybody's
That's the
tweeting
problem.
them like, you have a double chin. Like, it's
a lot.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
you can't have skeletons in your closet because that shit gonna come out years
Yes.
and years and years later.
right.
Shit always comes out.
But you
'cause
know what? People are always judging, so you might as well just live your best life. Though.
Yeah.
You know, people always gonna have an opinion.
But I mean, I do think, you know, it's amazing. Well, speaking of, okay, so New York premiered last
Yes,
night.
let's deep dive into
Well,
that, girl.
speaking
Let
of
me
like
get a little
using it right off the bat, I was like, that new girl, Barbara.
I love.
She
She's
shows
fabulous.
up and she goes, oh, I should have brought flowers for Bethany. That's okay. I happen to have a Barbara's toolkit for women
She sells
right
toolkits.
here. Like, it was right. I'm like, first episode, you are
Get it,
selling
girl.
your shit. And then she gives it to Bethany. And Bethany's like, oh, you already gave me one. I'm like, oh, shut up, Bethany.
Bitch, you're the
and your
queen of.
skinny-
You're the queen of it.
Yeah, you with your salad dressings everywhere. Like, stop it. But she's on it. She was like, look, I don't know how long I'm going to last on the show. Let me sell
She
some
gets it.
female toolkits.
Listen, I think she's got a great story. I've been friends with her for a long time through Luann, and I was like, I called her. I was like you just said, girl, from the get-go.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I'm selling. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when your time's up.
Yeah, but she seems cool.
She's nice.
Yeah, but I guess she didn't. I don't know how that.
She didn't bring enough.
Yeah, so because she's not holding the apple.
She's not holding the apple. She didn't bring enough. But you know, that's the crux of these kind of shows. You didn't bring the drama. Oh, well,
Right.
you know, we know my best friend threw a leg and fucking boop.
Yeah, I guess you know that
can't-
wasn't enough.
It's the dichotomy of these shows is nuts. And you met Aviva.
She threw the.
But
she
she's
threw the leg.
amazing.
so nice.
And
She's
it's like the
amazing.
greatest moment ever. But then it also jumps the shark in that. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost, maybe it was just too much for the.
I think it was too much. And
ridiculous.
like knowing her, I was like, oh girl, you really.
It's like when Brandy threw the wine.
live it.
Like, and then she would go out and she would kind of break the fourth wall and be like, I tell my kids, mommy's got to go fight. Mommy's got to go make. I'm like, don't say that out loud. Like,
Your
and
job.
I think that's what kind of jeopardized her position there, because she was like, of course I threw the wine. I'm supposed to try to make stuff happen. It's like, no, now you're getting to a place where you're too focused on, you know, self-producing or, you know, like.
Exactly.
That's where it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was like, I could see you as a housewife, but I
Yes.
can see you with the side business, honey. You should start charging these bitches.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm telling
There
you.
needs to be a manual. Juicy Scoop's one thing, but anything above the
It's-
45 minutes on the podcast, bye.
Well, yes, I do housewife therapy and housewife consulting. Just
Listen,
it's a little of everything.
tag the website right there.
Yes.
These women need it. It's
I know.
It's a nut job out there.
It's hard. It's hard to keep your hands clean and because then it's like they like them when they're drunk, but then if you get too drunk, then they're ripping on you. Like a drunk Dorinda's the best. And then
She is the best.
And then she's like, I'm not drinking anymore. Or she basically said that on her walk on the premiere, and I'm like, well, I hope. What are you telling us? We're not going to see Dorinda with a
Give
buzz
her 5
on?
minutes. She's going to get the buzz.
I hope so, because
You're gonna get the buzz.
I love her sayings and everything.
I love
like,
her.
She's so
I love
great.
Luann. I think Luann brings something to it, and I think hopefully I'm starting to see that the wall broken down on her, because I think she realized people actually do dig her.
Yes.
It's always been her thing of keeping this.
So I saw Luann. I went to her show, and Aviva was next to us. And it was the second time I saw the show. I saw it back in May. And I really think she's evolved as a performer, and I think it's really fun. I mean, it's amazing how many people are coming to see this show.
It blows my mind, because it's literally 3 songs though. And then she brings, that's the Friends part of it. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't be happier for her. I was like.
And I'm like, you know what? Good for her. And if, if she's created something and people are coming and it's bringing joy, then I mean,
you have that same kind of similarity there. You're selling out shows too, so you guys have that camaraderie between. That's not an easy feat to do.
No, but it is a similar audience, which is a great audience, which is a predominantly female audience. They plan their stuff, they make a 40th birthday out of it, they buy the tickets in advance. So it is a great audience. Like when I go to a comedy club that night, the last night after 5 shows, the staff is just like, oh my God, that was the best weekend we've ever had. Everybody was so nice. They tipped. They got the good alcohol, because you never know what the
you gotta have that good alcohol. You gotta make sure that alcohol's on point, okay?
My girls are buying like good bottles of wine.
Yes, bitch.
Yes. So that makes it nice for everybody.
I like
this. Like,
you know your demo, and that's good. You've tapped into that demo.
Yeah.
Your niche.
I think your Bravo, bring all the Bravo lights over.
Exactly.
Couple of guest appearances.
Totally.
I think it's good.
Love it. I love it.
I know. I can't wait to see what else you have in store, girl.
I was like, do we have another book coming? Miss New York Times bestseller. She ain't shabby.
I wrote my 2 books, and that was a great thing to do. But honestly, the podcast, I give so much content there. Someone said I could do a book where you take like the best of the podcast and make a book. I guess, but honestly, I'm not really motivated to do that, because I'm like,
we're busy enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, I could give it to like someone to put together, and they could go back and listen to all the 350 episodes. But literally my week is so busy because I do it twice a week, and then I do a special private podcast on my Patreon page on Friday. So I basically do 3 shows a week. Then I do like at least, 2 to 3 weekends a month of stand-up where I'm out of town. So it's just like, but if I had a book that I felt had an important story or message, but like I think of the funny stories. I've already done that on the podcast. And I've already done 2 books of that. So it's like, I think the books that are working now is when it really like touches on something that nobody else is talking about. So
maybe,
maybe down the line,
But it's a hard thing to do, write a book.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It's a big pain in the butt. And then like someone has to,
That's a whole
correct
process.
But girl, you did it though.
Yeah.
You did too.
And you did well.
Yeah.
So I was like,
it was
I
good. It
feel
was
like
fun.
you're in your path now.
You're in
and
your
I was
lane.
like, why change it?
But I love to read, and I love to have authors on my podcast, because my audience reads the books. So it's like, I love reading other people's books. But every time I have an author on, I'm like, and they're not a traditional author, like it's their memoir or whatever, I'm like, was it the hardest thing you ever did? They're always like, oh my God. It's always, it's like literally your biggest college paper hanging over your head for a year. It's just a freaking like stressful.
Unless you got a ghostwriter, honey, and then,
Right. If you got, and a real ghostwriter, like you lay on a couch and they just, ask you about yourself. Like, and some people can do that. And it's amazing,
hard.
but that's not how I did it.
No,
so.
I think reading your first book, I was like, it touches upon, how there's such a big change, and I feel like it's so current right now too.
What about
in terms of like the society we're living in, for
right.
men, for women?
So my first book, You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again.
I mean, a lot of dry humping, honey. There was a lot of dry humping.
I know. Well, it's
she's
like,
a good Christian girl.
I know, and there wasn't the reality TV world that I could have.
That came right.
Right, and so I was just talking to. I had the show that I love called Seeking Sister Wives. I had this family on, the guy and his 2 wives come on, and they're like this hip, vegan, gorgeous black family. Okay, and they came on, and I go, but they're polyamorous or polygamous, but not for religious reasons, just like that, like anthropology, life reason. And I'm like, well, I was an old virgin, but not for religious reasons. Like, I just wanted to like find somebody. And I'm like,
gotta have a sip
I
here,
go,
girl.
how the heck did I not, like, I'm bummed that I didn't capitalize on the time of like The Bachelor, The Virgin Bachelor,
Yeah.
Virgin Ashley I, like all this stuff. But later on in life, that's when I wrote the book, and I was like, well, I guess I have all these stories that are kind of funny because they're my dating stories, but I had this thing of being a virgin. So it's like, it made for really good stories. But thank you for saying that, because I do feel it's like I still get people reading it all the time.
Completely still relevant.
Yeah.
I think it fits the society. I mean, the Bachelor, I mean, that in itself.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No,
Yeah.
bullshit, I say. But anyway.
You think it's, so you don't think he's a
Yeah,
virgin?
that's great casting. What a great story.
So do you not think he was a virgin?
No.
I totally do.
Well, what's a virgin? To
Well-
what point?
Just the tip. I'm just kidding.
Girl, bye.
No, I think
Shut your ears up, Chad.
No, I think he did not have penetration with a girl, of course.
Okay.
But still, I do believe that he's a virgin. Yes, I do.
Interesting.
Yes.
I just feel like it was a good
Story-
casting. I thought the storyline.
But then
was
somebody
on.
said that he did a Snapchat like a year ago, like, oh, I just banged this girl. And I'm like, yeah, but that, I could see a guy lying about that.
Yeah, well, we all do it. You know, we all do it. 20 inches or so. You know,
Yeah.
We're all doing our shit. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending,
Yes, thank
spending the
you.
day with us. Did you say hi? And
Yes.
just in case, because I'm going to put it up on the screen, that
Yes.
you did a cute little Instagram story with this little child at LAX.
Yeah.
And Aviva said to me, oh, I just hung out with Heather McDonald. And I was like, oh, that bitch that's fucking doing like... And I turned and I was like, I think that might be Heather McDonald, but
I
I'm
know,
not
how
sure.
funny is that?
I literally turned and I was like, it could. I mean, this was
At least
6 a.m.
it was-
child. We're looking rough.
You weren't looking rough.
Bullshit.
You were completely from
Girl.
head. You had like burgundy shoes on. You had a whole fabulous look
I was
going.
trying to give the look.
That's what happens when you're a guy.
So yes, I posted. I took a photo because
We were
his,
like,
his
these
whole
ones.
look, and I wrote "best dad ever."
And
But I
literally,
didn't know who he
literally
was.
Aviva was like, hang on a second, is that you? And I was like, oh my God.
What a small
It's
world.
a small world.
It is a small
I
world.
was like, so look down the lens there, and where can people
Yes.
find you?
This one?
Right
there,
here, girl.
So the most important thing is to subscribe to my podcast, Juicy
Yes.
Scoop with Heather McDonald. But if you want to see if I'm coming to your city, you go to heathermcdonald.net. All my dates are there. So many fun choices of different shows to see. And that's it. And follow me on Instagram. And so you can see when I take photos of strangers and their dogs at the airport, it's at Heather McDonald is Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, I live, Queen.
You
I
guys-
live.
You guys can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew and this little nugget who's sleeping, but I'm gonna wake her up.
Wake it
at
up, girl.
Glitty Glit.
I'm Matt Dillon 1983, and it's Mama 2011. Again, Heather, thank you so much,
Thank
beautiful.
We're gonna do a
Yeah.
little quick
Oh,
cheers.
let's do a quick cheers, girl.
Cheers,
Cheers.
sis.
Yes.
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 All right, guys. Until next week on Sippin' the Tea.
Bye.
Felicia.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.